Hello and welcome to the Tea and a Buddy podcast. I'm Dominic.
And I'm Erica.
And on today's episode, we're going to be talking about a place that we went to, what was it, 4 years ago?
Something
3
like that.
years
Yeah,
ago?
about around this time
2016,
of year.
wasn't it? Yeah, around this time of year. We're talking about Gibraltar.
So what is Gibraltar?
What is Gibraltar, eh?
Beatles fans have heard of Gibraltar.
Yes. It's near Spain.
Yeah.
Shares a border with Spain in the north. It's a British overseas territory at the southern tip of the Iberian Peninsula, and it's surrounded by the Mediterranean Sea.
So it's sort of like the American Virgin Islands or Samoa Islands or
something
whatever.
kind of like that, yeah.
Just like
it's just a
Guam, or it's just like
it's been a British territory since the British captured it in 1704, but I think it's been a British territory since 1713.
Why did Britain want it though?
It's a important naval base. It's a important strategic
It's
point.
sort of like a lookout post in a way.
Well, it's an outpost. It's definitely, but that's the only way into the Mediterranean Sea.
Right, yeah.
Is through the Strait of Gibraltar.
Mm-hmm.
So having that as a military base was very, very handy because, you basically cut off all the naval, especially during the Napoleonic Wars, because they cut off, like, the French and, I suppose, the Spanish. You bottled up the Spanish in...
You kept them from sneaking out through
sneaking out through there or sneaking into the Mediterranean.
Because obviously...
I think at that point, the British Navy had entire control over the Mediterranean for,
Oh, yeah?
for a long time, because of that, I mean, obviously now that's a, ancient history. And, it's still a military base. Because, I mean, in World War II, it was quite strategic because... Rommel in North Africa and all that, and, U-boats and everything, the Germans and everything were trying to sneak into the Mediterranean, and, of course, the Italians were Mussolini and all that. But it's still...
Well, it was easier for Britain to see things coming via the English Channel, right?
Yeah,
so that was a way they could, like, sneak around the outside of Spain and, like, sort of come up from behind, I guess.
I guess, yes. I suppose so, yeah.
So, yeah, I get it. I mean...
It was like, because the Strait of Gibraltar, it's between, I don't know how many miles it is between Africa and, the point of Gibraltar there, or Tarifa.
Yeah. But you can see Africa from Gibraltar.
You can see Africa from Gibraltar, yeah, so it's not that far.
Yeah.
I'd say it's probably about 10 miles.
It was quite
20 miles even.
It was quite cloudy and like overcast and dreary.
Yeah, when we went there, it was kind of rainy, and we weren't going to go.
But even then, because I remember he was like, "Oh, on a clear day you can see Africa," but we could see it.
We could see the hills anyway. We could see the mountain ranges and everything of Morocco.
Yeah, so I was like, "Woo, I've seen Africa." Yeah, I haven't been there yet, but yeah,
and
that was
you could
really
get a
cool.
ferry from Gibraltar, or I think Tarifa, which is just around the coast in Spain, and you can get that to Tangier or wherever else.
Yeah.
In Morocco, and I don't know how long it takes. It doesn't take that long.
So you Anglophiles listening, our friends who are Anglophiles.
Our friends who are Anglophiles, you probably know all about Gibraltar.
Well, no, if you don't, I just want you to learn about it because it's definitely a place that you would like to go, I think.
Yes, I think it is. I mean, cruise ships dock there all the time because, the ones who are going around the Med.
Yeah.
It's like the first port of call or the last, depending on which side of the trip you're on,
Yeah.
And there was a cruise ship docked when we were there.
Yeah, we stopped in... I don't know why we went in a gift shop because I have this thing where I like to collect Christmas tree ornaments from wherever I travel to, with the idea of,
Christmas
one day
tree,
having a Christmas tree with all the ornaments
filled from
around the world.
With knickknacks from around the world.
Ornaments, not knickknacks. Thank you.
Christmas tree ornaments. Thank you very much.
But anyway, so we were in some little gift shop. And you heard some guys, they were like looking at.
They were like Americans.
They were American, yeah.
And this guy, he looked like the typical American tourist. He had the glasses and the same haircut and the T-shirt, and he's just going, "Yeah, dolphins. There's a lot of dolphins around here. I guess that's a big thing here."
Yeah, they have a lot of dolphins.
They had no idea
store.
what Gibraltar was. They just gotten off the ship and thought, this is a bit of a weird place. And it is a bit of a weird place.
It's very weird.
Because, you think you're coming into Spain, because you're on the mainland of Spain, really, and there's this bit that's like Gibraltar. It's British, it's like Moroccan, it's Spanish,
First of all, when you're driving in from Spain, you're driving into Gibraltar. As you're pulling up on it, and if you follow us on Instagram, you saw that we posted a picture, I don't know, last week or the week before, of the Rock of Gibraltar.
The Rock of Gibraltar.
And you can see that when you're pulling in, and it's just really striking.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't
look like anywhere else, because
I think I don't know if I'd fallen asleep.
I had. Your dad woke me up.
Yeah, you had. You definitely did fall asleep. I fell asleep maybe a little bit, and then I was kind of like talking to my dad or something, and then I kind of just looked out the window, and there it kind of suddenly was coming through the trees,
Yeah. It was only, about an hour and a half from Fuengirola.
Was that where we left from?
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's about an hour and a half, 2 hours maybe. And depending on the traffic, because it's kind of like a windy thing down the coast,
And so they'll let you off if you come in on the bus. They'll let you off on the Spanish side.
Yeah, that they don't drive across to Gibraltar because it's not part of Spain. It's a British territory. So they let you off in La Linea.
Mm-hmm.
La Linea, which is the line.
Yeah,
it's a little tiny town
at the border.
It's a border town. And there's nothing really going on there. I mean, everybody who lives in La Linea probably works in Gibraltar.
Well, they do, because we saw them
coming across
when we were leaving. Yeah, when we were coming back, like around the time that all the shops and restaurants and everything were kind of closed. Sort of at sunset-ish time. All the locals were like crossing back over into Spain. It reminded me very much of here, like Texas and Mexico kind of.
Yeah, it was kind of like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because they let you off in La Linea. The bus station is right by the border.
Uh-huh.
You can walk to it. I mean, people try to drive across the border and stuff like that, but sometimes it can be okay, but a lot of the times relations between Spain and the UK have broken down, and Spain will get all, like, up their border check, and and they
what I read,
or the Gibraltar side will up their border check or whatever.
Well, we were considering renting a car and just driving ourselves before, and then we were researching online, and what it said was just that it can take a long time. You're waiting in line a long time to cross the border in a car.
So it's better to just walk across.
Yeah. So we just took the bus, and the bus lets you out at the border, and you just literally show them your passport, and
you literally show them your passport and walk through. Yeah,
it's really not even.
It's not even that. I mean, obviously you get a little bit of a check if you have a different passport. I think
I did, because they were you guys just had the EU
British passport,
yeah, and the guy barely even looked at them, and then he looked at mine. He was just kind of like, "Oh, what? You're American?" Kind of like with
when I was coming back to America from
Mexico.
It's a little bit off on a tangent. The guy was like, he looked at my passport, he goes, "What? What are you doing trying to cross the border here?"
Yeah.
And I was just like, "Yeah, I have a green card, and he's just like, "Oh, okay. And I was just like, "Yeah, but I thought that wouldn't be enough,
Yeah. Yeah, they're just a little bit like, "Oh, if you're American, why are you crossing the border like this? You should be coming in on a cruise ship or something." I don't know,
yes, that's pretty much what it was. But that,
But yeah, I mean, it was not a thing at all. He was just like, "Oh, American, okay, yeah." And I asked him, could I have a stamp, and he was just like, "Oh, yeah."
Oh, we're not allowed to do that anymore.
No, he said, "Oh, I'd give you a stamp, but I don't have any." Yeah, he was like, "I give you one, but I don't have any." I was like, "Oh, well, that's okay." When I started traveling,
can I have a stamp in my passport? And it's like you go around the EU. That's a lot of countries. I don't know. That's 26 countries, I think.
Yeah.
And
If you're traveling from country
to country,
you don't
it's
get a
just
stamp.
bleep or not even, you know.
Yeah. I thought I would get one because I was American, but I understood you not getting them. But
no, I didn't.
Yeah, you only get one when you...
I got stamps over here. He stamped my passport in Houston.
I got a stamp in Britain again. This is what we do. I mean, if you guys listen to us, you know we go off topic very frequently. So.
Yes.
No, I got a stamp in Britain. Like, as soon as you land in London, they'll stamp your passport.
Yeah. They don't stamp it every time, though, now. When you come through the line with me...
I think they do. Yeah, I think they do.
He's never stamped your passport. He just looks at it and goes, okay, go through. No,
because they have to put a thing in saying, like, you know, because the stamp tells them when I arrived or whatever, so that they know I haven't overstayed. I get a stamp. Yeah, I get a stamp.
I don't remember him doing that. What was I looking at when he was doing that?
I get a stamp.
What was I distracted with?
I get a stamp when I go into Britain, but then if we then go to France or Spain or wherever, then I don't get any more stamps. Yeah. It's like I'm already in Europe. I don't know how Brexit will change that, but...
You have to get a stamp everywhere we go now.
Yeah. Anyway, back on topic.
They just run out of ink. Yeah, but Gibraltar...
So then when you cross the border...
When you cross the border, yeah.
Yeah, you go through border control... And then you cross the border.
And then it's like, you know, it's almost as if, like, you know, it's kind of like crossing the border here from Texas to Mexico. It's like I do anyway. It might be different for people who do it all the time or whatever, you know. But for me, it feels like, I'm in a different place.
Yeah.
It's so strange how, like, a little invisible line, you know, an invisible landline can change it. It's just the fact that you've gone through
border control, I think. You know, if you just walked across, I don't think you would...
I guess not. You know, because they've kind of got like a wall up at the border. You know, so you can't see through. You know, but
so the crazy thing about Gibraltar.
Is it's only 2.6 miles wide area space. Yeah. There's only two. It's like around.
So it's shorter than. I mean, it's smaller than Manhattan. Even
it's smaller than Manhattan. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you could probably easily walk it in like maybe an hour.
I always thought, it's a peninsula.
It's a peninsula, yeah. It's a peninsula, yeah.
It just juts out.
It's not an island, yeah. I mean, people could think it was an island, but it's not. It's connected to the land.
I think I kind of thought it was an island before we went.
Because I mean, because you look at it, it's like a big rock.
Yeah.
You know, and you think, that's an island.
And it sticks out so much that you don't really kind of see.
I am a rock. I am an island.
If you saw it from an aerial perspective, you would see that it was attached, I guess. But the way it sticks out, it looks like it could be an island.
Yes, yeah. It looks that's coming to it from sea. But yeah, you get across the border and you get into there, and then you instantly run into the runway.
Yeah.
The plane
Not a fashion runway.
Not a fashion runway.
We're not talking about the catwalk.
I'm talking about the catwalk, and you wouldn't want to be doing a catwalk on that thing. The runway for Gibraltar. Like a plane that's got its
Gibraltar International Airport. Yeah.
And planes land there every 20 minutes or something. I think it's something crazy. And it's like they've got and you know, it's like we drove across it, didn't we? Because we got into the guy's car and then we drove across it. We didn't walk across it. Would have liked to have walked across it. I think. Next time we're going to walk across it. But yeah, there
was a guy. Well, first of all, we got into the guy's car. It's not like we were being kidnapped.
We got into the guy's car who kidnapped us, and you know he took us across the runway. No, when we got there, we were kind of like, what do we do? I mean, I'd kind of planned the trip out for us to do stuff on our own.
Yeah.
But my dad was kind of like, shall we just get someone to take us around? Like do a mini tour.
Well, there
or something.
Was a guy there.
They've got to be kind of reasonable.
Do you?
And the guy was like, "Yes, you got to see it." You know,
we've got tours and come with me and da da da. You know,
there was like several of them.
If you guys have traveled anywhere overseas,
as soon as you get into the airport, you've got a guy there.
Yeah, or just anywhere out of the country. I mean, it's pretty much the same everywhere. There are people there to accost you as soon as you arrive, basically, and they're just like, "Oh yeah, come with me. I've got a great deal." Da da da. Usually, you want to go, no, that's okay, you know, because these people they're going to charge an arm and a leg. You should just assume that they are, you know.
Yes, yeah.
And so Dominic's dad starts talking to one of these guys, and I'm just like, oh god, let's just let's just go. Like, let's just walk. Because
let's just walk. Let's just keep going. But my dad kind of was just like, oh, no, he's kind of reasonable. Do you want to just get in? Let's do it. It's like my treat. And I was like, I looked at you and I was like, do you want to do it? Because I kind of wanted to do the cable car, but I don't think it was going, actually. I think it was closed.
I just didn't want to get cheated. I'm
cheated
like,
out. Yeah.
I'm just somebody who's always like kind of got my guard up when I'm traveling.
Got my guard up and stop those people and.
It's just like I didn't want like scam or
people trying to rip me off, man.
Yeah, I don't want to get
ripped off my back.
I don't want to get ripped off, So,
But so it was just kind of like, okay, if you don't, because my dad was like. Just like, he's one of those people.
No, he told us the price and everything. And we were like, actually,
it was kind of, I can't remember how much it was. It was 15 euros or something. Because per person.
It was per person, yeah. Because we were going to be in a van with other people, just whoever else he could collect, basically.
So it was going to be something like 45 quid or something. I don't know.
But he would take us to the top.
He'd take us to the top and we'd see the Pillar of Hercules and we'd make stops along the way and just kind of like a little thing. And we did it with, there was 2 other people on the tour with us. He had this like people carrier. No, it was just 2 others, wasn't it? I thought it was 2 other guys, another couple, British couple, I think it was, wasn't it? They were on the tour with us, so it was kind of like, okay, it was like this in this people carrier you had,
aka a minivan.
A minivan, yes, a minivan. So we like, yeah, okay, let's do that then. And that was a very good idea because,
yeah, it was good.
It was a good idea.
I'm
glad we did that. He was very knowledgeable. He was a Moroccan guy that had lived there all his life. I think he might have been born in Gibraltar. I'm not sure.
No, I think he said he was born in Morocco. But anyway, so we get in the van and he takes us across the airstrip.
Yeah, he takes us across the airstrip and we're just kind of looking out like that, like there's runway this side and there's runway that side. And it's like, yeah, this is a short runway.
Yeah, it's very short.
It's very short.
And that's it. It doesn't go in a circle or anything. It's just like...
Those pilots landing in Gibraltar need to know when to hit the brake. You know, they come in and it takes a long time for the plane to stop, once you've landed.
I seem to remember, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know if it was like railroad crossing kind of thing.
Yeah, they do. Like no, they do. Yeah.
Like when it was okay for you to cross. So it's
that kind of stuff. Yeah, they had that. Going,
yeah.
But
stop, go, You won't get hit by an airplane if you go now,
And it's just, we just went across the runway because there was no planes and it's a very tight schedule for that. Because, while we were there, we were up at the thing, we looked down and we could see the airport from where we were and we could see the planes coming in and landing.
Yeah. And
that was really cool.
Yeah.
I don't know why I didn't film that, but, we were only there for the day, so.
Yeah. But
yeah, so you get across and he's just taking us around, he's showing us like Nelson and Nelson's like statue and, the North Bastion and how the Moors, he was telling us all about that. And I think he took us to the Pillars of Hercules first, didn't he? Yeah. And he was explaining, that's how the dollar sign came to be. Mm-hmm. That was the first stop. Yeah, the dollar, something about the dollar sign. Yeah. It's like, in like secret society, this is where it came from. Yeah. And that's why the dollar sign is that, that S.
Yeah, the lines, though, were like the straight.
Yeah.
Apparently. Yeah. Something about Hercules separating it or pushing them together.
Yes. I think because Hercules had separated the continent. Yeah. From the European continent from the African continent. Yeah. Yeah, it was something like that.
It was a myth in mythology.
The mythology, yeah. That was pretty cool.
But yeah, you pass by a bunch of British barracks on the way up the rock.
Yeah, because it was it still is. Gibraltar is still a military base of sorts. There's still like radar installations there and stuff that's sensitive. So we couldn't go to the very top. And there's things you can't go past, like no entry points and stuff. But we're winding our way up, and then we got to the cave, didn't we? Mm-hmm.
That was something we wouldn't have done, and that was included in the price.
Was included in the price. I can't remember
entrance
the name
into
of the
cave.
now.
Yeah, I don't know.
But we got a picture of, because while we were at the cave, there was like no food, no drinks, and then there was like no monkeys.
Yeah.
Like a little sad monkey face, like no monkeys allowed in here.
With a slash through it.
Yeah,
no monkeys allowed in here. Yeah.
And we hadn't seen any monkeys so far.
Like the monkeys are gonna see that sign
I
and
thought,
go, oh, can't go in there.
Can't go in there. We're not allowed in there.
I think they had a little cafe attached to the gift shop.
Yes, and it was like no feeding the monkeys. Basically, I think it was. Because
I think it was literally because it was like it said do not feed the monkeys, but then it was like a monkey with the slash. It was like no monkeys allowed in here.
No monkeys allowed in here. So if a monkey tries to get in there, they're turned away, and they're very sad about it too.
But we had no idea that there were caves inside the rock. I mean, it makes
there's
total
tunnels.
sense.
The British had exploded that place up. It's basically Swiss cheese, the rock now.
Yeah,
there's tunnels going
there's
through.
There's natural caves in there.
Oh, there's natural caves in there. Yeah, because who was it that was performing in that place?
Oh,
I think it's St. David's Cavern or something. It's called.
It was like
Julio Iglesias. I think it was, wasn't it?
Like that. Yeah,
he just performed. Julio Iglesias just performed here the other night, or he's
concerts in here all the time.
Julio Iglesias was here last night.
I don't think it was him, but it was somebody like that. Yeah, So they have it all like light installations, and you can see all the stalactites and
and everything. We went down there, and it was really
very
cool.
Very cool, yeah.
But yeah, we hadn't seen any monkeys so far, so he was just kind of like, oh, where are they then?
It was so overcast, and it was November.
And you thought like, oh, we're not going to see them.
Yeah, I wasn't sure.
But I was like, no, they're everywhere across the island. It's like they just live in the wild up here.
Because there's
nowhere for them to kind of hide really from us,
Yeah, because in case you guys have no idea what we're talking about, Gibraltar is known for...
There's like 230 Barbary macaques, which are like apes, rock apes.
Yeah.
And they came from...
They were brought there.
They were brought there during like the Islamic period because they did some tests on them to see like...
Yeah, I don't remember.
DNA and stuff, and it's like, oh, they've been here since before the British captured it, so it's not like someone brought them during... when someone brought them just to like liven up the place after Britain took over. They've been there all the time, but they kind of like they took over the island almost. That's a main draw of attraction for Gibraltar is to see the monkeys.
Yeah.
And there was that story that he told. It was like, oh yeah, there was this one that was leading a gang of them.
Down into the town,
and he was raiding kitchens, and he was like that, and then they eventually had to put him in jail and ship him off to Scotland.
They shipped him to Scotland.
Because he was such a big troublemaker. It was like, yeah, we're getting Dave, or whatever they called him, out of here. And they shipped him to Scotland, and he lives, I don't know if he lives in the wild or a zoo up there.
To the zoo, they said.
Yeah, because, they couldn't have him in Gibraltar because he was such a big troublemaker.
Yeah, he would leave.
He had a big criminal record in Gibraltar.
He would leave bags to them, and they were like, oh, nobody could leave the windows open in their house because they'd come in and...
Dave and his gang would come in,
Yeah, because mostly they stay up on the rock. They don't generally come down into the village, but I didn't know that. So, we're driving up there and we're getting higher and higher, and we haven't seen any monkeys.
I haven't seen anyone. And then you saw one.
Yeah. So I took a picture of one in a tree.
You were like, oh, there's one. I saw one. You got all excited. And I was just like, and you were like, oh, we're probably not going to see any. And I was just like, no, they're going to be up here.
Yeah, Dominic said, oh, we'll see more. But to be fair to my point, there weren't as many as I've seen in other people's pictures.
Oh, no, there wasn't. No, I think it was an overcast day, so they were just kind of...
It was overcast. It was, coming on... winter and stuff, so I figure they have places they probably go,
The little hidey holes.
But yeah, so we got to the top, and there were plenty of monkeys up there.
We got to the top and we stopped, and like two of them jumped on the car instantly.
Rather.
Two of them jumped on the car instantly, and the guy and our tour guide was like, "Oh, okay, everyone, just be calm,
Yeah.
They're not." And I remember seeing him jump on the bonnet and look in the thing, and then he was like. And then I could see him. He was looking in to see, how are you getting that door open?
Yeah. No, he said
some of them figured out how to get the door open and get in and steal the stuff.
He said, so I have to be sure you take anything with you that you want to, because I'm going to have to lock the van when we get out, because they know how to open the doors.
Yeah. And no, he did. He got up and he was just like that, and he goes, "Oh, I've got my umbrella here." and the little monkey was just like, "How are you opening that door in there? I'll find out." I could see it on his thing, on his face, and I was just like, "Oh my God, he's so cute." And then he gets out and he's just like, "Hey, get down from there," because they're on top of the thing. He's like, "Hey, get off!"
Yeah,
just like, God.
Yeah,
it was just so, and we got out. And they didn't really bother. They didn't jump on us or anything. No, they don't really do that unless...
They don't care that you're there at all.
You're not really supposed to touch them.
Yeah.
Or interfere with them, because, of course, people try and freaking pick them up.
But they will climb up you.
They will climb up you, and they will steal whatever you have.
Yeah.
If you've got a bag, they'll get in it, We didn't have anything, And they were kind of despondent that day, weren't they?
They were a bit.
I took a few pictures of them, and they were just kind of like, it's raining. We really don't want to see anyone today. But we've made a special... It's okay, you're here now, but, it's fine.
There were a bunch of babies in a tree.
There were a bunch of babies in a tree.
They were just chasing each other around.
And you love that.
Yeah, that was good. I think maybe we put that on our Instagram. Our camera was acting up on that trip, you guys. We'll slowly maybe put some pictures on, but
we'll have to
go on another trip.
We'll have to go on another trip and
with
get
better equipment.
Equipment to get some good shots of the monkeys for you.
But anyway, so they can get very close to you, and a couple of them were like kind of fighting when we were loading back into the van, and
you were trapped.
They were right next to me, where they were between me and the van, and so I was just kind of being still, because the one was really antagonizing the other monkey, and the other monkey was
getting
kind of baring his teeth like
that. Like, get out of here.
Yeah, baring his teeth, like growling, like, "I'll get you," And they were pretty much right next to me, so I was afraid that...
I'd gotten back into the car because we'd parked by a wall, and I couldn't get in the other side, so I had to get in first. I had to slide across first, and... I think my dad or the couple had slid across it, and I could see through the windscreen you were having trouble. I was like, "What's going on?"
Well, and the guy said to me, "Are you okay?" And I was just like, "Yeah." I mean, I wasn't afraid of them, but I was just afraid the one
was going to climb
up me to get away from the other one.
That would just have to happen, wouldn't it?
So I was like, let me just be still here, and then...
yeah, because I could see you just like going like that.
Let them kind of get over their issue
You bared your teeth at them.
I was just kind of like...
But no, they were really cute, and I mean they get fed by the government. The government gives them like veg.
Yeah,
it's just basically veg, and they throw it on the ground, and they just come and eat it.
Cabbage and potatoes,
and carrots, and we got photos of them, and they just eat it, munching away on it, just like nom. They weren't like rambunctious.
The government feeds them because they don't want the people to be feeding them.
Yes, yeah.
Because that is what makes them then go, the people are the ones, they live down there, and they're bringing their food from down there, so let's go down there and just
get it ourselves, cut out the middleman,
Yeah.
And they did that, and then somehow they managed to stop them. They don't really come back into the town anymore.
Not really.
Because the whole top of the rock is like a nature reserve now.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and as Dominic said... the van was pulled way over to the side because the roads are like...
The roads are tiny.
They're basically just one way, really.
They're one way, yeah. And I mean, they wind around the rock, and they just cut into the rock and everything, so yeah.
So then we went up a little bit further, and there were we saw some old tunnels, I think, which I think you mentioned before.
World War II.
Yeah.
Emplacements, and you got scared by that guy in the jail.
Yeah, they have some... what would you call them? Like
dummies, like mannequins.
Yeah, like mannequins.
And there was one in the jail. And Erica went up to it, and of course, it's
there's
like
a guard there.
It's a guard in a jail, and he's like looking out and stuff, and Erica goes like that. And comes in, and he goes, "Halt! Who goes there?" Just like, and she goes, "Wah!" Everybody did it. I think I got video of it too, so we might put it on Instagram.
The tunnels go on and on and on. Like,
they go,
we went for a little while, and
then we kind of turned back.
We were just like, I don't know how far these go, and
because they get a little bit smaller too, so you're kind of having to stoop a bit.
We were on a tour, so we were on a time limit. But I mean, theoretically, I guess you could just, if you were doing it yourself, because I think you had to pay to go in those also.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a little bit
all-inclusive. Museum-y, yeah.
They had it like set up. There were different things telling you what each things were, and they had like some old cannons set up for display. It was very well done. That was another thing that we
wouldn't have
didn't
done.
really know. Yeah,
I was just planning to just go up and see the monkeys on the cable car. Yeah. That was as far as I'd planned in Gibraltar. Yeah. I mean, we didn't see the whole island, obviously, but when he took us back to where he dropped us off in like the old town. We stopped at the point where
Queen Elizabeth had been. There's like
and
a dedication. Yeah,
yes, she looked out there and
a little. It's kind of like a picture point. Yeah,
picture point. Yeah.
And then he brought us back down, and we did not go really through the town that much.
No, not really. I mean, we did.
He just brought us back down to like
the
downtown
in Marks and Spencer. Yeah.
He brought us back down to like basically the downtown area.
Yeah.
And we had fish and chips.
And
then
they were bloody expensive, let me tell you. In Gibraltar, right, it's a tourist trap, really.
Yeah.
There was like several hundred fish and chip places there because, they're trading on being British and, all that kind of stuff.
And they only accept pounds.
Yeah,
they
because...
don't accept euros.
I went into a shop in Gibraltar and bought like a couple of candy bars.
Yeah.
Curly Whirly or something. Oh, that's because my dad's friend was all like, don't forget the Curly Whirlies, as a joke.
Yeah.
But I went and got him a couple of Curly Whirlies.
But yeah, everything there is British. So, it's good because if you're in Spain and you're like, oh, I really want,
fish and chips,
hobnobs or fish and chips or
I guess
something,
so.
you can just like make a quick trip to Gibraltar and...
Well, if you live close enough, anyway.
It's so bizarre, you guys. We walked around after we had the fish and chips. We walked around the downtown kind of area where all the stores and everything are.
Yeah, Gucci and
museums
Prada
and all of that. And it feels very much like you're in a Charles Dickens novel. The architecture is very Victorian.
Yeah.
And
it's Gibraltarian very much,
I don't know. It felt it's very British.
Yeah.
It's super British, but in kind of pastel-y Spanish colors.
To me it reminded me of any seaside town in Cornwall or Devon, really, It was just kind of like that sort of like vibe.
Yeah. The climate is Spain.
I could have been in Polperro, I could have been in Torquay, I could have been in Port Isaac, or Newquay.
Yeah.
Or, anything like that. It was very much, it just struck me like that,
Yeah. The climate is very Spanish, but everything else about it is completely Britain. I mean, we went in Marks and Spencer's, didn't we?
Yes, yes. And that's where the more of the cruise ship regulars were.
Yeah. Yeah, I would have liked to. I definitely would like to go back. They have some very interesting and very pretty old structures from like the 1700s when the British first
the Moors
got
Castle
there. Yeah, and then there's
around in Gibraltar, around the bay, there's like dolphins and whales come in.
Yeah.
So that's why there was loads of dolphin knickknacks on display, and that's guy was like, I guess there's a
dolphins are a thing here.
Dolphins are a thing here. And, it was clearly he had no idea where he was. He was like, where am I? I've just come off the ship. I thought this was Spain. And it was just like, I'm in Gibraltar.
But then there's
looking at dolphins.
There's like palm trees and everything else about it looks and feels like Spain, except for the buildings and just the overall atmosphere and the people. I mean, it's all British people.
Almost, yeah, mostly, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the only Spanish people in Gibraltar are like
working
in the shops.
And they come from La Linea, as we said. We saw someone walking across the border, with his mother or whatever,
Yeah.
Going home.
So it's a very, very, very cool place. If you do a cruise around the Mediterranean or something, or if you can choose a cruise around the Mediterranean that makes a stop in Gibraltar, I definitely say it's worth it.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially if you're into Britain.
If you're an Anglophile and you want to see a curiosity, go to Gibraltar.
Yeah, it's a very odd place, but it's very, very cool and definitely worth the trip, I think.
Yeah.
An interesting history, yeah.
But yeah.
I think we're done.
I think we've talked about Gibraltar a lot.
Yes. Yeah, do all the things.
Yes, do all the things. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Butty.
Yep.
There. Go to our Patreon page. We have a Patreon page.
Yeah.
And
we have an Amazon shop.
We have an Amazon shop, which we're just getting set up on the website.
I'm going to add some Christmas stuff, you guys. I want to find a bunch of Christmas stuff and put together a little Christmas list for people who enjoy British Christmas treats.
Yes, like matchmakers.
Yeah, like stuff that we've had, stuff that we like. We're going to compile it all in list and put it on our shop, on our website. So be sure you go and check that out. Yeah. But other than that, thanks for listening.
Thank you very much for listening, everybody.
We appreciate it as always, and we'll talk to you next time.
Bye.
Bye.